Apple hits new record highs. Well, you got to pay attention to this. Yes, Apple hits new record highs. We got to get in on Apple then. We're either going to buy it when it comes back down to the 8 or when it breaks out. Apple, when it's about to break out, all-time highs here, all-time highs. It's amazing. We could start buying some as it's pulling back. Buy as it pulls back little by little, just to get in the trade. Just to get in the trade.
Order filled.
All right, so we just took a position to get in that trade. Because Apple's hitting all-time highs here. We got to at least get in it. The pattern's good. It's extended, so we're going to go very easy on the particular order. Hopefully it'll pull back to the 8, the 20, and the 50, where we'll add to the trade. And that's what we're doing with Apple at the moment. If it breaks out, we need to try to buy some more.
Order filled.
Okay, so we added to that position. All right, the stop loss is under the 20 moving average for half of this. Or I could buy some more. My position is very, very small at the moment. So I have a decision to make. Am I going to add when it drops down to the 20, or am I going to stop out of half my position? If my position was large, I would have to stop out if it penetrated the 20, because that means it's not very strong going up. The momentum is weak. But since the position is small, I'm looking to probably add. All right, let's set some alarms here and go check out NVIDIA again.
Order filled.
Close.
Order filled.
I'm getting out of everything. It's continuing down past the 20 on the 2-minute chart here. So it's just dipping way too much for me. It didn't go up. If it gives me another way to enter into it, maybe later, or if it keeps going down, we might buy back in, because it's still got a bullish pattern in all these charts. But I can't just keep holding it as it continues to drop. That's something I need to work on, and I'm glad I did it. I don't like taking losses, but we have to get out when it's not going the way we're thinking. The price is underneath both the 8 and the 20. Okay, so we should be able to, to get out of that without thinking twice about it. So it's good to see that the whole market is actually going down as well. If the whole market decides to have a down day today, then we got to go with the market. So let's see if this thing goes over the top of, if Apple goes over the top of this red candle that it just created, it tries to poke up over the top of the 8 and 20 again, because the 8 and the 20 did not cross. It's bouncing off the 8 on the 5-minute chart. You could look at that as it's bouncing off the 8 on the 5-minute chart. You can see. That's what it looks like. But we have to keep an eye on the overall market. The SPY is still going down. Apple, Zoom is going down. Okay, Apple's still going down. Good. I see. It's always good to see that when you get out of the bad trade, that the trade continues to go bad. That makes you feel like you did the right thing, even though you hate that you made a bad trade. It's a good trade when you get out of it properly. It's a good trade when you get out of it. So I'm trying to think, how could we short this? But there's really no short yet. All right, we're still looking to go long on Apple. If it changes direction, got a couple pintails off the 50 moving average here. And the overall pattern is still bullish. So we could try to go long, but it still hasn't closed above the moving averages. We could give it a shot here, but it's kind of risky. Stop loss would definitely be below, I'd say the previous.
Rejected.
I say the previous candle.
Order filled.
Okay, so here we go. If it doesn't keep going right here, even if it falls
Order
back,
rejected.
even if it falls back under this candle here, even, it's just the momentum is not good.
Order rejected.
So one right underneath that same candle. If it's not momentum, it's not momentum. If it's not going to go, it's not going to go. So this candle, if it breaks back down, all the way back down, if it breaks all the way back down, then I'm going to get out. I'm bringing both of these up. Now I'm bringing everything up to this previous candle, because if it collapses on that, the momentum's completely out, obviously. On the 5-minute chart, you can take a look at using the 8 moving average as your stop loss. For a momentum trade, that's what we need to do. And that's around 82, 182.83. All right, so keep going. Now we want to bring everything to break even here. We want to bring everything to break even here, because if that candle collapses, then the momentum is dead as well. So we're bringing everything to break even on this trade. Of course, it could tease us and go down below and come right back up and skyrocket over the top. We don't know. The resistance up above is better for us, because we saw it rejected on the hourly chart. We see it's overextended on the daily chart. There's room to come back for a small correction. See, this is what we want on the 5-minute chart here. We want these candles to stay small, not long, and we want the price to roll back around and keep going down that way. So your stop loss could actually be over the top of this red candle here and the 8 moving average around 391.50 on the 5-minute chart. So that's where I got it over here. So let's let this sit, and let's go look at Apple again. So we got stopped out of Apple, but it's developing another opportunity here as it continues to look like it wants to keep pushing up. I like the structure on the 5-minute chart over here in the bottom left. I think we're going to give it another shot. And I don't want to wait for it to break out. I'm going to try to see if we can get in this thing now that we've seen what it's done here with this dip. The next dip should be low, or not as low. If it's bullish, that it should not be as low as that. So that could be our stop loss. This pivot over here. So the breakout is definitely weak here. I'm looking to get lower now. See, we tried to break out here. It didn't work. Tried to break out here. It's just slow. I'm going to get back in it. And I'm going to try to buy when it dips.
Order filled.
Okay, so let's just buy some more when it comes down here. We've got 2 more to buy down there. And hopefully sell when it gets higher up there. This time I'm going to add to my position when it comes down to this pivot. And if it looks like it's going to continue, we'll get out. So you see, it's trying to get over the top again. It's having a lot of trouble getting up there. At least for now, it's being rejected. So let's see if it comes all the way back down and gives us a higher high. Somehow we've got this trajectory. We still have the 8 moving average holding on to this thing here on the 5-minute chart. That's a good spot to potentially have the stop loss around 182.95 or to buy more. Again, the thing's so bullish right now that we probably should be more willing to buy lower than to get out of the position. The position is very small, so I don't know why I'm I'm just practicing getting out of the trade and not moving my stop loss. I want to make sure that I master that, have my mind made up, and don't change my mind. Each trade, you have to have your mind made up and don't change your mind. Whatever you're going to do for that trade, do it. Don't change your mind. Because the worst thing a day trader can do is keep moving his stop loss around and changing his plan or his objective for each trade. It's like the worst. PayPal's going down. SPY's going down. What's going on with Apple? I don't want to lose my profits on this thing. It's just not going up the way we're hoping. Looks like the 50 is a good support level. So we still got our stop down there around the 50 area. 50 moving average. We don't, it's hitting that trend line. Now, like I said, it could come down to the pivot. If it's going to be bullish, you don't want it to make a lower low. You want it to somehow stay up above that last pivot in this area here higher if we're going to trust that it's bullish. So I got my stop near that pivot down at the bottom. It may be too high. I hope it's not. Apple is looking weird here. It's starting to break the trend line and it's closing below. It's closing below the moving averages. That's not good. It did that over here though. They didn't cross yet. So the 8 did not cross the 20 and they're all still above the 50 and above the, it's still in trend mode up. I don't like that it broke this trend line. I don't know if I want to buy right here. It looks like it's getting trapped, what we're hoping NVIDIA does, like it's getting trapped under the 8 and the 20, but that hasn't crossed and it hasn't crossed underneath. I'm thinking about just getting out because I don't like what that's doing. But see on the 5-minute chart, it hasn't even broken below the 8 moving average, which if it was momentum, it shouldn't. It shouldn't break below. So on the 15-minute chart, we're seeing it go sideways and it's still very bullish looking. But like I said, you want that 50 to hold on the 2-minute chart. You don't want it to close below it and keep pushing down. Right here is still bullish, still looking bullish even though it broke that trend line. We got our stop loss in right there. Let's keep our stop loss right there. Hopefully the violation of the trend line is not that important. As long as the higher high continues to develop, we're good to go. That remains to be a higher high, we're good to go. Keep the stop loss underneath the 50. Apple, hopefully it'll continue to just even slowly trend up. As long as it makes higher lows and higher highs, we'll stay in this little sideways trajectory that it has. It's very tempting to add to this position on Apple right here as it's breaking over the top of this narrow red bar, but you see it's been failing and failing. So confidence in that is not as good as we're thinking. But I really would like to. It's just, it's tipping here and coming back down. The momentum in this thing is not trustable. On the 5-minute chart, it looks pretty good to be able to do that, but I really want to. I think I'll wait till it goes up and probably comes back down and then test that area. Wait on it to kind of prove that it wants to go up before I do it. So that's the idea. What's going on with Apple real quick? All right, Apple's making a move to the upside. That's good to know. So I kind of wanted to add to that right there when Apple got up higher like that. See, that's coming back down to test. Remember, our idea was see it, let it break through first, let it come back down to test. More than likely, it's going to rotate back down and just slowly grind up a little higher here, come back down, a little bit higher, come back down. But let's keep making higher highs and higher lows on this. So instead of getting in right there, we can let it pull back and be a little bit more confident in this trade. It is trending up higher. So now it's already below where we would have bought in at the, let it come all the way down. And let's buy off that 8 moving average maybe.
Order filled.
Okay, so we bought off the 8 moving average. That was after the breakout point. It was buy over the top of this for the breakout, but then it came back down and we were able to buy lower. Hopefully it will continue to go. Our stop loss should still be in the area of that last lower low or higher low, which is this pivot right here. And the 50 is right. The 50 and that pivot, somewhere in that area is where the stop losses should be. So that's where I'm going to put them.
Order rejected.
All right, that's where they're at. Now that engulfed the entire breakout candle, but that's to be expected. That's the way it's been acting all day. We're really torn in day trading on some position sizing properly, as in terms of instead of getting stopped out, I should be buying there. So readjusting my strategy to where I'm not getting too heavy on the breakout to where I can't add to it on the pullback. If I'm too heavy in my position on the breakout and it fails, then I have to get out where I should be buying. That's the dilemma. So I like to get in a little bit on the breakout and add when it pulls back. And then if it keeps going down, then get out at that point. Apple's trying to make a move up to the upside. Hopefully it'll keep going, because we got some losses on the video. If Apple could get some momentum going, we can continue to add to this position, would be great. You see on the 5-minute chart, I was just, and we're about to hit 11 o'clock. A lot of times 11 o'clock throws things out of kilter. All right, with Apple, we're going to go ahead and move our stop loss up closer to that last pivot for everything here. It's still well under the 50 moving average. Sideways, choppy, but it's still trending up. It never broke below that pivot right here, but it did tap into the 50 moving average. So I really need to bring my stop losses back up to underneath this pivot right here then, because it's already flirting with the 50, and I can lock in at least some profits here for my only winning trade of the day. All right, so there we go. We're profitable on that. It's the only winning trade of the day. Come on, Apple, keep going, keep going. And then I feel comfortable with raising my stop loss to that last pivot now. And maybe even putting it, what happens here with Apple is as soon as it breaks out like that, it comes back down and completely engulfs the candle. The breakout candle completely has always been engulfed each time. So what I should probably do is take some profit when it hits this high and wait for it to pull back. Let's do that. At least half of this.
Order filled.
Okay, so we got out of half our position, and we're going to see if it completely comes back down and engulfs this candle, and maybe we can get back in it at a lower price. So we kept half and we got out of half. And what I could do here is just trail candle by candle and just call this a trade that is working out. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and put it up here. Yeah, see, here it comes.
Order rejected.
Okay, we're going to raise our stop loss to underneath that breakout candle. We're in profit territory, so if it comes back down, we'll be close our position with a profit. We sold some of it on the spike up. If it keeps going, we'll just trail candle by candle. So Apple's trying to slam down. We did sell it right here on this white candle, this candle here on the spike. And we have another stop loss down into this right below the 50 for the rest of it. All right, so let's see if that'll hold as the bottom now. If it comes back down to that again, I'm getting out. I ain't got time to sit there. And that very well could have been the second dip. Let's start to move this bad boy up. Okay, so let's go right there with that and even take our next one, and we're going to close this out profitable, hopefully. So what I'm going to do is follow it up if I can. It's possible that thing will really take off, huh? So we might want to hold back a little bit here and just let that thing, wow. I got to take some off up here.
Order filled.
Okay, we took the one off. See it right on time too. Look how it's coming right back down. Wow. Now if it takes out that entire candle, I'm closing out my position. So my stop loss at this moment is underneath, let's say the last two candles. I still got one I'm holding right now. Still got a little piece. Yeah, and good old Nvidia is not going down yet. Okay, so what do we got with Apple? Man, Apple all-time highs. It could be a shooting star or something. Who knows? It's not even 3 o'clock yet, so let's see what happens here. I mean, what's going on with the market, man? Is it just roller coaster? Yeah, up and down, up and down. Man, Apple's following the SPY pretty closely. Apple's just hanging tight. We got everything. I'm just going to keep my stop loss tight on this, on Apple. Keeping it relatively underneath, but I got that little piece left, and if it shoots down, I'll get out. I wish Nvidia would go. I almost don't
Order
want.
filled.
What happened? What do you mean order filled? Sell Apple. Oh, it come and stop me out. Yeah, but that's okay. That was still a profit. Look at what if I would have held that position with Apple. You could see how far down it fell after I got stopped out. Wow. Wow, got stopped out here. Fell all the way down here. And I wonder, if, if you like to counter trade, that's a strong move down, man. Strong move down. It's bouncing off the 20 on the hourly chart and then the 100 on the 15-minute chart. So yeah, it's going to bounce right here. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. It's not even, it's about 230. We could probably catch this to a bounce again and just buy two here. Just buy two or buy one.
Order filled.
Get ready to buy two if it keeps going down, because we didn't get it in a good spot off that 50 or 100 moving average right there on the 15-minute chart. We should have bought down there, and that would have been much better. But after a move like that on the 5-minute chart, you wonder, can it just keep going without pulling back first a little bit? So we're looking for a bounce, no doubt. I mean, the kind of activity that we have, surely it's going to bounce. And this may be all the bounce it does. I mean, it's almost $1 bounce as it is. Sure did. So I'm glad we only got half of what I was thinking, because there it goes. Tesla. Tesla looks bullish. I just want to get a good entry, man. I'm looking for something. Apple, what's Apple doing? Apple looks bullish. Tesla looks interesting. I haven't done anything with Tesla yet today. Trending up nicely. How do we get in? Well, it's crossing over the red candle. Let's go ahead and jump in for one share because I think it's going to keep going.
Filled.
I think it's going to keep going. What we're going to do is buy when it drops lower. I got a very small position, very small. And I'm willing to add more if it comes down into the 50. I like that it's consolidating over this trend line. And we should be, the 5-minute chart looks really, really good. So we should be able to maybe even add as it breaks out over the top. Another one. Let's see what happens here. Looks like the volume's coming in on that candle too. 2-minute chart, Tesla. 5-minute chart looks bullish, like it's ready to go over the top. Markets are getting stronger. Nvidia's heading up. Apple's heading up. Let's see what we can get with Tesla here. Hopefully Tesla will work for us. I think the idea of stopping out for this one will be if we get 2 red candles pushing down below the moving averages, since the moving averages are tight together here on the 2-minute chart. So if price were to come down to the 8, to the 20, and to the 50, that'd be a good place to buy and add to this very small position. If it closes below those moving averages and then the next candle continues to push down below that, then we know to get out. It just looks too bullish to do anything else with this. Okay, so there goes Tesla going against the way I wanted. Maybe I'll get another chance to buy something here. Let's go like, all right, let's do this.
Order filled.
Okay, so now we added to that position. That's a pretty, like I said, if it closes down here below these moving averages and on the next candle keeps pushing, we have to get out. Because right now on the 5-minute chart, all it's doing is bouncing off the 8. It hasn't even touched the 20 yet. So this next candle, if it keeps pushing down below, I've got to get out. It's just the way it goes. Or if it, at least get out of one of them. We might see the development of a higher low here, which would be good. Right off that 20 moving average on the 5-minute chart. So that's 2 candles closing below the 8, 20, and 50. So if it pushes below this, I'm going to have to get out of everything. And I'm sure I'm over trading today, but that's just something I can't have because that's a narrow range candle. And if it keeps pushing lower, it could definitely go down the 100 moving average or even test the lows of the day. So what you don't want is this thing to continue to come down past that candle. And it probably will. So I'm getting out of everything. I'm closing my position if it does. You got to have some really solid rules. Because it's closing below the 50. Twice already. And here we go, getting ready to get stopped out. If it holds right here, this is what you need. You need it to hold right here. It's on the 20 moving average on the 5-minute chart.
Order filled.
All right, we're out. We're out of the position. It didn't work. You can see how it collapsed and started going down below our moving average support, and it went down just enough to get us out. And what we'd want to do here in a trend trading situation is potentially buy over the, when it closes over the red candle. If we have a reversal like this area right here, where we had a red candle and then the green candle took it over, that's a place to buy because everything's going up. All the moving averages are going up. 15, 5 minute, and now we're expecting a dip here in the 2 minute. We took a lot of trades. We're still within our limit. So if this pushes lower right here, you probably want to short it down to the 100 moving average. And if it doesn't, as soon as it starts to push over that red candle, we can go long. But you got this 8 and 20 coming down as resistance. On the 5 minute chart, it's trapped in between the 8 and the 20. The price is in between the 8 and the 20 on the 5 minute chart here.
Order filled.
Okay, it's starting to push over the top of these red candles here. I know that it's struggling with the 8 and the 20, but that's just one of the negatives we have to face right now with this. The trend lines, the trends are going up, so we want to go up with it as soon as it starts to push over and close over these red candles on the 2 minute chart. Those red candles, we want to see green take it over. And it did. So we entered in good. Now, as long as it doesn't break this pivot here, because that's our stop loss, we could add more to this trade. But it's fighting that big candle, the big red candle coming down. I'm expecting it to kind of go sideways right here and potentially build up some pressure first. It bounced off the 20 moving average on the 5 minute chart right where it stopped us out, unfortunately. But we got right back in it as soon as it went over the red candles. I mean, you see how long and deep this thing is dipped here. I mean, it is just wacky. That's giving us an indication of the behavior of this thing. Yeah, you can get stopped out pretty easy, and you need to have a really loose stop loss on it, and don't take too large a position.
Order
I'm
filled.
going to add some as it's going. Keep going, keep going. It's taking out that big red candle area, so that's a good sign. Now on the 5 minute chart, if it takes out that red candle and keeps pushing over the top of that trend line, that's going to be an excellent bullish sign. I at least want to get one winning trade today. I've lost every single trade today. One good idea is potentially to buy when it drops below the 8, the 20, and the 50, as long as they have not crossed over yet. But the problem was it was getting trapped underneath. But even though it was getting trapped underneath, the 8 still did not cross below. Not one time. So that's an interesting thing to pay attention to there. Of course, if price comes down past this pivot, I'm going to have to exit out of my idea. It's just chopping the heck out of me, man. Here it comes. Yeah, because you don't want to stay in it if it's going to break below that pivot, because that'll push it back down below the 20 again. Okay, now we're starting to see that 8 wanting to cross over the top of, sorry, the 8 cross underneath. They're kind of pointed down now. They were before, but it's getting close to where, well, like I said, this pivot is where I'm getting out, so. Apple's still hanging in there, but just grinding ever so slowly. We got to put our stop loss underneath this last pivot here, underneath just a little bit underneath the 50 moving average. Well, technically we can break even on this trade now because that'll still be underneath the 50. So let's go ahead and break even. At least we broke even on a couple of trades, but haven't really had a successful trade yet. Hopefully if Apple keeps going here, we will have made up for all the losses that we had, and that'd be great. And if Tesla doesn't stop us out, we might be able to do something with Tesla still, but it's looking real sketchy right now with the old Tesla trade. Hopefully it'll go up. Come on, Tesla, go up. The market's going up, but it's just not momentum. All right, the 8 finally crossed under the 20. The 50 starting to head down. They're all tight together like that, so either they're going to spring up or it's going to spring down, because now everything's so tightly congested, it's going to go one way or the other here in a minute. Hopefully it'll go in our direction. We do have an uptrend bias, a bullish bias on it. I want to take a look at this Tesla trade here and see what I could have done differently here. Looks like this area in the first blue circle, I could have done something long. I just getting in at the right spot. And where do you put your stop loss? It didn't go up very far in relation to where the stop loss would have been. It could have been a 1-to-1 though. The second trade here in the circle is interesting because I could have, instead of adding, I could have just taken some profits and did a 1-to-1 on it. I get in right over the top of that candle when it shoots up, take some profits, and then break even on the rest, since the behavior of this market today is just so choppy. Well, getting out right up here was a very good idea because as we can see, it continued to go down and I didn't want to hold it for all that. We did try a long right here off the bottom, but as I was studying the 5-minute chart, seeing how price is being trapped underneath the 8 and the 20 here, and then recognizing that my sell signal is it kicked in on the 2-minute chart, which is the 8 and the 20 have crossed under the 50. Along with the 8 crossing under the 20 on the 5, that's bearish. But the problem is we have it stuck on the 20 moving average here on the 15-minute chart. But if it breaks below that, then we're looking to short it down into this empty space here. And that's what I'm thinking. Of course, it could go right back up over the top and stop me out, which would have to cross over the top of the 8 and the 20 here on the 5-minute chart. It had to come up over the top of this consolidation area way up here over the 20. That's my stop loss. I'm looking for it to break down. But the problem is it's a mixed signal because you have an uptrending 100, you have an uptrending 50, and technically this could just be a nice pullback area, which is what my idea was to begin with. So I'm trading in a mixed kind of environment, and it's not clear one way or another, except it's kind of bullish on the upper time charts, and then you get this signal here on the lower time chart to sell, but here it comes right back up, and we're trying to break it, we're trying to sell it into this 8 moving average on the 60-minute chart. So it may be that I'm just really eager to practice instead of taking really solid setups. And maybe I wouldn't have taken any of these trades today because it's been in a kind of a mixed situation for the most part. Except for Apple. Apple's still doing good. Hopefully Tesla will continue to go down, but I'm not sure. It looks good on the 5-minute chart, but you have that uptrending 50 and 100, so anything can happen. You got half the moving averages trending up, half the moving average trending down, and that's just a very, very dangerous situation to be in. So technically I should probably get out of this trade. There's nothing really good going on here.
Order
I'm
filled.
going to close it. It's just a bad idea altogether. This one was completely bad. I probably should have stayed in the long position. But I'm seeing a lot of good opportunities when price gets trapped below the 8 and the 20. But usually that's if it's below the 50. And right here on the 5-minute chart, we do not have the 8 and the 20 below the 50. Tesla. But it's getting trapped right here. And this is the same thing NVIDIA did. It just never continued down. So I've got a bad taste in my mouth about shorting this. I really would like to go long on it. The market is sustaining itself in an upward position. Can we see a bullish move right here again? It's certainly not going short on this thing. So let's go long. But is that a good idea? Because yeah, we got all these moving averages. We got the green candle taking out the red candle. And that's what we want to see.
Order filled.
All right, so we're going to try to go long again. Right here. Where's the stop loss? You need to already have that in play. So the stop loss should be on the 5-minute chart. We can see 217.20, just right below that candle that took off. 217.24. 217.24, right about there. If it comes all the way back down here, the idea is failing. All right, let's bring that stop loss right underneath that candle there on Tesla. More than likely, it's going to come back down, and because the momentum is pretty strong, we'll follow it candle by candle. Candle by candle. See what happens. Maybe we'll get a nice spike out of it. Look how high that shot up right there.
Order filled.
Something happened. Probably Tesla came back down. Yep. So we're out of Tesla. That was a positive trade. Apple was a positive trade. Still is, but we're over trading and we're not getting good trade setups. That's the main problem here. Something looks interesting on Tesla. What's going on with Tesla? Looks like a short opportunity. Could be, could be. It's just going right down in that area that it keeps bouncing. Same kind of problem as, I mean, I like it, but will it shoot past all that? Will it go down? Look at the 5-minute chart. We got a consolidation pattern under the 100. That's good.
Order filled.
All right, I'm going to try it with a stop right above this consolidation area, man. I'm going to give it a shot. It could easily come right back up here. I know it's risky. It's not shooting down yet, but the 5-minute looks like it could definitely go. The moving averages are in the right pattern. I like what I see getting weak on the 15, but it is in that area of support. So that's the problem we're having. That's the problem we're having. Tesla's going short. That's good. Tesla in the middle here is going short. Come on, keep going, Tessie. Keep going. Let's watch Tesla for a second. Oh, NVIDIA's going short too, it looks like. Yeah, Tesla's breaking. I'm going to have to move my stop loss on this and keep it tight, man. As soon as I can break even, I will. I'm going to go ahead and break even on this. Because if it doesn't just keep right on going, then I can get out, no problem. Really want it to break down fast. Down to that line, maybe. What's it going to do when it hits that line? Are we free? Will it keep going? 5-minute chart says it's free, except for that pivot. The 15-minute chart, we got a little bit of a way. Oh, let's go, let's close it.
Order filled.
Oh, I got a little something off of that. What'd we get? So it just spiked down real fast, and I took something off of it.